Alright, here's a nice Charter Arms UnderCover 38 Special. It is 5-shot. It's all original bluing. I believe it's an early 1970s to mid 1970s. As you can see here, it says Charter Arms Corporation. Again, it has the original grips with the Charter Arms medallion right there. Sorry about the camera moving a lot here. Has the nice bluing still with very minimal handling marks. Now, a lot of people have misconception on Charter Arms because they're believe they're super cheap, which they are. If you see one, you could pick one of these up for about $150 to $350. Now, the high end of $350 will be new in a box, probably with paperwork. But of course, they're not a Colt or they're not a Smith & Wesson, that's for sure. But they're very reliable. They're great belly guns. You know, put them in your pocket. This particular one is pretty small and it's very light. I would use Civil Defense 38 Specials, which are 50% lighter than your regular full metal jackets or your hollow points. So it's called Civil Defense. Look those up. And this is all you need to carry. I mean, a regular civilian, you know, the chances of you pulling the firearm out, and if you really truly need it in a situation, is like slim to none. I mean, probably less than 1 or 2% with carry permits that will probably use their firearm. But if you need something easy to carry that's 100% dependable, I would highly recommend a Revolver. This one is not as wide as a regular Smith & Wesson, like my Model 36 or Colt. Like I said, these run about 150 to 350. This one is probably about 275 to 300 and about 300, 325 for the condition that it's in. Maybe right now, the way the gun market is, it might even be a little more. The only two things on the Charter Arms that you have to really keep an eye on is that your thumb release. Okay, so you push your thumb forward, of course, and you push the cylinder out, and it gets a little sticky sometimes. As you can see, it's free spinning, but what happens right here along the frame, it gets kind of locked up on that stop on the frame for your cylinder. It's like a little indent or indentation here that protrudes out. I forgot what they call that, I'm sorry, but it kind of gets hanged up there a little bit. If you have a little bit bigger grips, you won't be able to get the one cartridge in here. You have to kind of spin the cylinders to fill it. But with these particular grips here, they're small, you'll be able to put all 5 in with no problem. The other thing that you have to do, keep an eye on this screw here for your crane, your cylinder crane, because if you over tighten this screw just a hair, the crane will stick. It won't be free floating like this. And you know, it's a little loose and supposed to be like that. But again, you're not getting a Smith & Wesson or a Colt. But make sure that this screw is not super tight. If it is, just undo it a little bit, and you have to play with it a little bit and figure out where you want this. So you want it loose. Like, you don't want to have to like really push this forward, because if you did, this screw would be extremely tight. So just unloosen that. That's number one. Number two, if you push this forward and your cylinder doesn't come out, see that one's sticking a little bit. So if I push that, it's a little bit sticking when it's locking in there on your cylinder pin lock right there. So right here, see if I can get closer. Let me get a screwdriver here real quick. there's a screw right there. See it? Right in the middle of your frame here, where the back of the cylinder goes to, and you can see it's a flathead screw. So this was one of the stupidest things that Charter Arms did, and it always loosens up. So every time you push it in and you shoot this thing all the time, okay, what's going to happen, see how it locks up a little bit, and this revolver hasn't been shot that much. This screw right there, you're going to have to loosen that up a little bit. And it's real easy. You take a little tiny screwdriver and you go counterclockwise, and you just want to bring the screw flush to the frame here. Like, you don't want to protrude the screw out. Make sure it's just flush. And when you bring it flush, your cylinder will lock nicely in there. Okay, it'll spin nicely, and then when you put your thumb release, this will come out really nice. This still does work nice, but I might just have to make one little turn on that screw right there. Now, in time, this screw will do counterclockwise, and it will, reset itself in, and then you would have a hard time doing the cylinder. So make sure this screw is completely flush to the frame, and you'll be fine. And keep it a little bit lubed up, oil, a little too much on there now. So, and then you'll be all right. So there you go.